Hey, are you really leaving? Yuzhen and her husband Samuel have hit the 7-year itch. During their romance, they would spark love in the hallway. But after marriage, daily life gradually dulled their passion. Mortgages and car loans weighed them down even more. In response to Yuzhen's advances, Samuel seemed disinterested. After marriage, Yuzhen became a front desk manager at a hotel. She disliked those sneaky guests who checked in. These people always mess up the room, so she always notes down the client's personal information and directly puts them on the blacklist. Her husband graduated from Seoul University but does nothing. Yuzhen made up her mind and took a loan to buy her husband a taxi. But Samuel just sleeps in the car every day. He shows no intention of earning a living. One day, a man got into his car, but he refused him, saying the journey was too far. The passenger had no choice but to pay Samuel 3 times the fare. Halfway through, the passenger gave him some extra fare. He asked him to wait here for an hour. Samuel thought that as long as the passenger paid, he could wait as long as needed. So he removed the roadside barrier in the rain. He parked his car in a non-obstructive spot. Then he lay back in the car and fell asleep. After a while, the car suddenly stalled. Samuel woke up from his sleep. As he looked closely, he realized something was wrong. His car was actually submerged in water. The next day, the insurance company reviewed the driving footage. They found he had secretly moved the no parking sign. He also parked in the no parking zone, so they rejected his claim. When he got home, he didn't dare to tell Yuzhen. He silently made radish kimchi instead. Yuzhen asked why he was making so much kimchi. He said he would bring some to Jongsu and get some exercise. When are you going? I want to go too. I'll bring some radish kimchi and enjoy some expensive food. And so the couple arrived at Jongsu's house. Jongsu and Samuel used to be classmates at Seoul University. He not only lives in a luxurious villa but also owns several fancy cars. Successful families also have outstanding children. At a young age, she made a fortune in the stock market using her New Year's money. Yuzhen thought the child was just playing, so she asked how much she earned. Currently, the funds are limited, so I can't earn much. I earn around 1 million won a month. Hearing this, Yuzhen then realized, this little girl actually earns more in a month than I do. The two best friends sat down and talked about their married lives. Shiryan said her husband has been increasingly distant lately. She suspects he might be having an affair. She hopes Yuzhen can give her some advice. Samuel originally planned to borrow money from Jongsu to buy a car. Before he could speak, Jongsu asked him to go somewhere with her. Jongsu knew that her wife wouldn't suspect her if she went out with Samuel, so she took Samuel to the stadium to find her lover. Seeing her lover being sweet with someone else, Jongsu felt jealous. She then texted her to meet at the stadium entrance. Jongsu. Sister, I have come to dislike you. You have been secretly following me. The partner was annoyed by Jongsu's behavior and decided to break up. But Jongsu can't bear to part with this relationship. So, she tearfully asked for forgiveness. To make Jongsu leave, the partner pretended to agree to stay together. You'll contact me, right? Yes, I'll contact you. On the way back, Samuel told Jongsu his car was flooded. The insurance company still won't pay the claim. To keep my wife from finding out, I have to borrow some money from you to buy a car. However, Jongsu rejected him, saying that discussing money hurts feelings. He calls him a good brother, but doesn't help in times of trouble. Even so, Samuel didn't blame him for being heartless. The car situation made Samuel feel down every day. He didn't react to Yuzhen's teasing. Yuzhen saw that her husband had no interest in her, so she asked him if he had someone outside. Samuel quickly replied, how could I betray my family like Jongsu? Is Jongsu cheating? Yes. He's so terrible. Yuzhen found out that her best friend had been betrayed by that pretty boy Zhengxiu. Yuzhen was filled with rage, but her husband told her it was someone else's family matter. It's better not to get involved. Yuzhen thought about how her friend lacked her husband's love every day, and gradually developed a dependence on alcohol. She decided to tell her good friend about it. That night, Yuzhen called Shiryan. Shiryan said, I've heard about what happened with your family. I was just about to call you. What? The taxi. I heard it got flooded. Samuel must be really sad. Is that so? Samuel rushed to find Zhengxiu. He said his mouth is not reliable. The Zhengxiu affair set out. Can you take responsibility if my family falls apart? That's why I came to find you. Zhengxiu, in order not to let this matter spread to his wife's ears, get in his fancy car and go find Yuzhen. Zhengxiu came to Yuzhen and knelt down. He said he had an affair in a moment of madness. As long as Yuzhen helps him keep it secret, he would definitely cut off contact with that woman. But Yuzhen said she wouldn't betray her principles. Hearing Yuzhen's words, Zhengxiu turned and ran outside. Just as they were discussing if he was escaping, Zhengxiu quickly ran back in. Jungshio said he went to get his phone. Since your principle is to punish me, can I substitute it with a fine? Samuel said we're good brothers. Don't do anything that crosses the line. Yujin also urged him to hurry back and confess to his wife. But at that moment, Jungshio raised 3 fingers. -3 million? No. -30 million, -30 million. The two people didn't expect Jungshio to offer so much money. Faced with temptation, they were a bit tempted, but they were hesitant to agree. Seeing them embarrassed, Jungshio began to cry with tears. He said he didn't want his daughter to grow up in a broken family. He asked Yujin to help himself this time for her niece's sake. When the timing was right, Yujin agreed. What's going on? As Jungshio was leaving, Samuel stopped him. He said he really let it slip out in a moment of carelessness. Jungshio, with tears in his eyes, said it must be because I didn't lend you money for a car. You're using this with your wife to blackmail me. I thought of you as a brother and even took you to meet your little sister-in-law. Let us cease our brotherhood here. Just leave once it's done. Let's not meet again. I'm sorry, Jungshio. Yujin didn't blame her husband for the flooded car. Instead, she took him to the dealership. Yujin picked out a B-plus sedan. Samuel told his wife the car is expensive, and using it as a taxi would be a waste. But Yujin didn't hesitate and decided to buy it. This really made Samuel excited. On the way home, Yujin told her husband that they should try a different way of living. She took out a small red notebook. She told her husband that while working at the front desk, she saw many people, like Jungshio, who betrayed their families, and she had all their personal information. The couple quickly agreed to blackmail others using evidence of infidelity. One day, a girl checked out of a hotel. Yujin immediately noted down the girl's information, and she sent a message to her husband to drive to the hotel entrance. Then the girl got into Samuel's car. When he dropped her off, Samuel saw the girl get into a man's car, so he secretly took photos on the side. I have to go. What the hell, I'm soaked. No. This is driving me crazy. In the rooftop parking lot, a young couple got out of the back seat of an SUV. The girl adjusted her clothes and left as if nothing happened, but they didn't know what had just happened in the car. It was all recorded on someone's phone. The man was an employee at a loan company. He has a good income and a loving wife, but he couldn't resist outside temptations. He got involved with a girl from work. The daytime intimacy left both of them longing. They were still being lovey-dovey even downstairs. Little did they know someone was capturing this moment with a camera. Why don't we want to be apart after being together every day? At this moment, the girl took out a bouquet. She told the man it was a gift for their 200 days together, but the man said he couldn't take it home. He handed the flowers back to the girl. Can't you say it's from a coworker? She might get suspicious. The girl seemed a bit unhappy to hear that. How could such a stingy guy have found a girlfriend? The girl sent gifts, but he didn't reply. After the man left, the girl's tears could not stop falling. Samuel and his wife waited at the man's door. Just as they were escorting the guests out, they discovered that the man's wife was pregnant, so they decided to teach this scumbag a lesson. Samuel disguised himself as a delivery man and went to the man's company. He delivered a package to the man. The man opened the package and found an iPad. After turning it on, he realized something major had happened. It's got a full record of what he did in the parking lot that day. It had sweet photos of him with the girl. There was also a note asking him for 15 million won. After seeing the video, the girl told him to report it to the police. But the man said if it went to the police, his wife would divorce him. That's when the girl realized the woman in the video was his wife. It's the first time I've seen your wife. First time, I think. Don't you not have sex with your wife? Well, no sex. Then how did she get pregnant? Before. Just that one time, never did it again. The man begged the girl to help him. The girl questioned him, asking if he was trying to get money from her. Men say you and I make mistakes together and we share them. He even encouraged the girl to take out a loan for him. The girl was speechless and turned to leave. Wait a second. Damn, no, wait a minute. You always say you love me. Why does your attitude change completely when money is mentioned? If you do things like that, give me back the money I lent you. That's what I lent you. You should pay me back. Seriously, if you dare to do that again, I'll tell your wife everything. Wait a minute. Get out of the way. Okay, got it. The next day, the man placed the items by the fire hydrant as promised, but Samuel was extremely nervous about blackmailing someone for the first time. He thought everyone on the roof looked like police. Yujin saw that the man was back at work, so she called Samuel to hurry and get the money. But Samuel was dragging his feet and wouldn't move. Frustrated, Yujin scolded him as a useless coward. Do you expect me, a woman, to go collect it? Samuel had no choice but to walk to the fire hydrant. His heart raced as he took out his bag. Fortunately, no one came to stop him. But just as he was turning back, someone called out to him. Hey, wait a minute. As the man left the hotel, he noticed the front desk staring at him, so he turned around and walked over. While the waiter looked puzzled, he pulled out his wallet. He slammed 2 checks of 100,000 yuan each on the table. One for each person. I've never been here before. What? If you dare to talk nonsense, I'll make your lives difficult. Just then, an ambulance siren rang out outside. The man hurriedly left the place. At that moment, they realized something might be wrong in the man's room. The colleague rushed upstairs to check. Yuzhen noted down the man's personal details. Just moments ago, the man was in a private meeting with his girlfriend. At a crucial moment, the girlfriend dislocated her jaw. Worried, he quickly called for an ambulance. But his girlfriend asked him to leave quickly to avoid affecting his family. Yuzhen went home and told her husband about it. Her husband found online that the man was the owner of a stone shop. The couple thought of the man driving a Mercedes wearing a gold watch, going out shopping with a check. They decided to use it to extort a lot of money from the man. So they pretended to be a couple on vacation, following the man around trying to get the exact proof that he's cheating. But then they found the man came to the dock. They asked the boatman here and found out. People come here to go to seaside villas for a romantic night. They couldn't let this great opportunity slip away. So they bravely spent 500,000 to buy a ticket. They are here enjoying barbecue and drinks. The sweet feeding scene was so warm. Yuzhen secretly took her phone in the next door to make a video. Meanwhile, her husband was leisurely fishing. Late at night, Yuzhen found the man had entered the house to rest, so she quickly had her husband put on his swimsuit and sneak over. For survival, even Samuel who can't swim tried his best. He plunged into the ICC. Halfway through, fear struck him and he wanted to give up, but Yuzhen grit her teeth and told him not to turn back. Fortunately, he made it safely to the other side. Samuel slowly opened the window a crack. He saw that men had begun to make love. He secretly took out his phone to gather evidence. The next day, they printed out the photos they took, and also wrote the man a note demanding 50 million won. But after receiving the letter, the man was no movement. So Samuel called and invited the man to the mountain. At that moment, Samuel saw the man holding a protest sign. He thought the man had called the police and didn't dare to get closer. On the phone, the man said he hadn't called the police. The man really wanted to settle this with money, but the method is a bit complicated. The man spent 10 minutes telling Samuel his bittersweet love story. He told Samuel to come to the stone shop tonight. He would find a way to get the money ready. Samuel's wife objected to his doing such a dangerous thing, but Samuel said to make big money for his wife, he had to take risks. Besides, the man doesn't seem to be someone who goes back on their word. That evening, Samuel's wife drove him to the stone shop. As soon as Samuel entered the yard, the man kicked and punched him. After a few punches, he even lost a tooth. Uncle, stop hitting. I'm really in so much pain now. You've made me lose my teeth. Just surrender. I surrender. I surrender. Uncle said he feels warm seeing your photos. It warms his heart. He also said your photography skills are great, but he's just a live-in son-in-law. The financial reins were all in the hands of his wife, and he was only responsible for minding the store. The uncle was grateful for being able to capture his happy moments with the camera, so he offered 45 million won as payment. He hired Samuel to photograph the stones in his shop. This way, he could justifiably ask his wife for money. Remember this. From now on, you are Korea's top photographer. Yuzhen saw her husband with a bruised face and missing a tooth. Tears of sympathy were about to fall. Fortunately, her husband completed the task and brought back the money. But then she realized the amount received was not the 45 million her husband mentioned. So she questioned her husband if he had hidden it. Then Samuel said calmly, "This is my legitimate income." A tax of 3.3% was deducted. The woman endured endless malice from her mother-in-law, so she added something special to the gift for her mother-in-law. She was originally a pampered young lady, but after marriage, her life hit rock bottom. After marriage, she was forced to live with her acrimonious and mean-spirited mother-in-law, doing laundry and cooking for her mother-in-law, yet received no gratitude in return. Her mother-in-law insisted that she follow her closely whenever she went out, and treated her like a servant, making her hold the umbrella and open the car door. Every year, her mother-in-law would make her prepare birthday gifts, so she decided to add something extra to the prepared gifts. The woman should have dressed more elegantly for her mother-in-law's birthday, but she could only wear an apron, busy at the dining table. After finishing, she could only sit far away, like an outsider who could be easily overlooked. She watched her mother-in-law and sister-in-law chatting with the guests. Hey, that person. Even though her mother-in-law bossed her around without a name, but her inherent grace made her appear elegant and composed. After washing the dishes, she took a short break in the kitchen. At that moment, she overheard a conversation between her mother-in-law and sister-in-law. The mother-in-law worries that her daughter will be mistreated at her in-laws, so she took out 2 500-gram golden ducks. She asked her daughter to take them back. Where did these come from? This was brought as a dowry by your sister-in-law when your brother got married. A full 500 grams each. Wow, Mom, you really took advantage of my sister-in-law. Isn't it a bit wrong to take my sister-in-law's things? But now it's mine, so what's the problem? Seriously. She actually ordered me around as she pleased, pointing with her finger. In-laws, in-laws. Get lost, in-laws. Every time the woman gets upset, she goes to a boxing gym. Gradually, she fell in love with her female coach. The coach would take her for rides on his motorcycle through the streets. They also drink together, chat, and enjoy the night views. They play and have fun together in a tent on the balcony. But at every critical moment the woman always received a call from her husband urging her to come home. When she reached the underground garage, she desperately sprayed perfume on herself to cover up the smell. Feeling guilty, she was startled by her husband tapping on the window. Her husband saw her acting suspiciously and asked her if she was out looking for a man. A man? A man? What man? I'm not looking for anyone. Don't you really have any man outside? Absolutely no men were sought. Can you swear to God? Can you swear in our son's name? Can. I swear by my son and God. It seems that his eyes show no hesitation. Of course. The woman lost track of time on her date with her lover. After grabbing the takeout, she hurriedly prepared to go upstairs. At that moment, a short-haired woman stopped. The woman saw the coach chase to her doorstep, so she nervously pulled the coach aside. The taxi driver found their behavior suspicious. He secretly listened to their conversation from a distance. After hearing the shocking news from both of them, he smugly drove away. It turned out they had just met at a hotel. At a critical moment, the woman received a call from her mother-in-law urging her to come home, so she packed her things without caring about her lover's feelings. They even had a big argument in the taxi over it. Samuel went home and told his wife what he had heard. They decided to use this situation to get back at the woman, to capture solid evidence. They found the short-haired woman from that day. Surprisingly, she turned out to be a personal trainer at a boxing gym. Because after the argument, the woman had been ignoring him. So the coach rode her motorcycle to the church to find the woman. The woman found that the coach was looking for her under the eyes of her mother-in-law and husband. She then lied about going to the bathroom and took him to an empty room. The coach told her that after their argument, she lost interest in food and drink. Every day felt as torturous as a year passing by. Me too. I haven't been eating well lately. Can I hug you? Thus, they reconciled and hugged tightly. However, every move they made was captured by Samuel outside. They rode their bikes together at night, cruising the streets. They sat together on the balcony, drinking, chatting, and enjoying the night view. They played around happily in the tent, but Samuel captured it all with his camera. Just then, she got a call from her husband urging her to come home, so she got up and left. If you leave, it's over. It's a breakup. How did we break up? But that's okay, right? After all, we have evidence. The next day, the woman received an anonymous package. When she opened it, she realized something was wrong. She asked her coach if it was her doing. The coach was even more confused when she saw the, "It's not me. I will catch those people to prove it to you." That evening, the woman placed the package by the motorcycle as planned. Samuel and his wife took the package but hadn't had time to be happy. Then they noticed someone on a motorcycle was chasing them. To distract the pursuers, Samuel asked his wife to get out. He rode off alone on the motorcycle. As the pursuer closed in, he accelerated. But suddenly, a car came out in front. Samuel fell hard to the ground, unconscious. The pursuer picked up the bag and found it empty. Then he rode off to find Samuel's wife, Eugen. Seeing no way out, Eugen decided to fight back. But the opponent was a boxing coach. One punch knocked her to the ground. She even lost her front teeth. Then, she got punched repeatedly and cried, covering her face. "Please spare me, I'll give it back to you. Okay, I'm begging you, stop hitting me." Seeing the two little golden ducks unharmed, the coach called the woman, but she said to let them take the things. "Let's consider it a punishment for our wrongdoing. Hey, just take your stuff and get lost. If you show up again, I'll knock out all your teeth." Okay. The next day, Eugen took the golden ducks to the pawn shop. The boss gave her 28 million for the two ducks. Eugen complained about how cheap the gold was. The boss said if that's not enough, she could sell her bag too. "I can offer you another 12 million. Really? Eugen knocked on her husband's door in her new beautiful pajamas. But her husband Samuel showed a look of helplessness. Faced with his wife's urging, the man bowed his head in silence. What's coming must come, he could only sigh helplessly. At this moment, both of their lips were flushed from kissing. But Samuel still couldn't get into the mood. This made his wife suspicious of him. That day, Eugen installed a surveillance camera by the door. She wanted to see if Samuel had done anything wrong. What she didn't expect was that Samuel slipped up that night. A woman surprisingly found her own home. Samuel was out with her, chatting happily. She immediately called to ask what Samuel was doing. Samuel said he was driving a taxi, of course. He mentioned he had passengers and hung up. The next day, Eugen emptied the trash can in Samuel's room, but she found no strong evidence. She then started searching the bookshelf. Finally, she found a photo of the woman, Minxio, in a book. There was also a note on the back of the photo. "You've brought me great comfort, so I'm giving you this beautiful." Yuzhen suddenly felt like the sky was falling down. To gather strong evidence of Samuel's cheating, she went to a dealership to buy a car for tracking. Just then, she was drawn to a powerful convertible nearby. Thinking she couldn't let Samuel drive away at a critical moment, so she took the plunge and bought the Yuzhen parked her car not far from Samuel's taxi. At that moment, she noticed a couple walking happily together. This reminded her of her romantic times with Samuel. She remembered how Samuel would explore her body when they took taxis. This made her more certain that Samuel was betraying her now. Then she saw the couple getting into Samuel's car, so she started her car and followed them. But she followed them all night without noticing anything unusual. At that moment, she saw Samuel warmly helping a drunk customer out of the car. But he was met with disdain from the other person. The person even insulted and shoved Samuel. This made her feel a bit sorry for Samuel again. She thought she would end up with nothing tonight. Just then, Samuel walked into a pharmacy. She followed and found Samuel had returned to her own community. After Samuel took the elevator, she climbed the stairs to follow him. Finally, she saw Samuel exiting the elevator on her floor. She checked the surveillance and saw Samuel walk past her door. At that moment, she heard a knock on the door, so she took out her phone to record. She realized that Minxio, the woman who went out with Samuel last night, lived next door, and Samuel simply followed Minxio into her apartment. Because her husband wants a child, Minxio has to force herself to be ready at all times, and she was also mentally exhausted by the torment of this life. Just then, a man entered her life. He not only provided her with emotional support, but also showed her unprecedented care. Minxio first met Samuel at a car wash. She ran out of her will cleaner. Samuel kindly lent her his. To show her gratitude, Minxio helped Samuel wash his car. They left a good impression on each other. First meetings are always beautiful, and fate is even more wonderful. The next day, when Samuel returned home, he found that Minxio lived next door. He nodded politely and went inside, but Minxio was extremely happy. The first time, Minxio knocked on Samuel's door to return a cleaner. The second time, she brought him some beer. The third time, she brought him a big watermelon. This time, Samuel finally invited Minxio to come in. Minxio told him her husband only comes back on weekends, so sometimes when she buys too much, she thinks of bringing some to him. Minxio mentioned that the drain at home often smells bad, giving her a headache. Samuel understood Minxio's intention. "How about I help you fix it? It won't take long." So, Samuel went to Minxio's home to clear the drain. Seeing that he wasn't afraid of getting dirty and was quite caring, Minxio gradually developed a liking for him. So Minxio suggested they be cleaning partners. They would clean once a week. Samuel hesitated a bit but still agreed. And just like that, they became like a couple. They cleaned the bathroom together, and tidy up the study and bedroom. The first collision startled both of them. In the second encounter, they collided again. This time, neither of them dodged. They both sensed each other's affection, so Samuel intentionally leaned closer. Minxio's fair skin was right in front of him. Samuel gradually became entranced. Minxio shyly turned her head and smiled. At this moment, she was captivated by Samuel's strong calves. Just then, there was a sound of a door opening outside. This scared both of them quite a bit. Minxio hurried outside. She asked her husband why he was back before the weekend. "Isn't your ovulation period almost over? I think we need to try harder. That's why I took a half day off to come back." After saying that, her husband walked into the bedroom. Her husband said he felt great today and didn't need to take medicine. Minxio told him that would make her very tired, and I still have a lot of housework to do. At that moment, her husband heard the phone vibrating on the balcony, so he turned to look at the balcony. Samuel was pale with fear at that moment. He panicked and quickly hung up the phone. Luckily, Minxio cleverly said she accidentally put her phone in the washing machine. This eased her husband's worries. Then she gave him some medicine. Samuel crouched in the corner, not daring to move. At that moment, someone poked him a few times. He turned around and realized it was Minxio. Minxio's husband was already fast asleep in bed. Minxio glanced at her husband and told Samuel to be quieter. Then she led Samuel out from the living room. After they got out, Samuel felt regretful. He told Minxio that they shouldn't contact each other anymore. "Today, I hid away like a mouse. You even gave your husband sleeping pills. I think it's wrong to do that." After saying that, Samuel went inside. Only Minxio was left standing there, deeply saddened. That day, Samuel saw Minxio again while getting ready to wash his car. Minxio was about to say hello, but he backed out and left. As a man, he knew he should keep his distance from Minxio. This was responsible both to Minxio and to his family, but his actions only made Minxio long for him more. That day, Samuel learned that Minxio was sick, so he bought medicine and went to Minxio's home. But he didn't know that his wife saw him. She saw her husband enter another woman's house and not come out for an hour. Yuzhen angrily soaked her doorstep in gasoline. Then she pulled out a lighter. Yuzhen felt a bit hesitant as she took out the lighter. She thought it was too cheap for them. She also realized she could face legal consequences. Suddenly, a perfect revenge plan popped into her mind. So she quickly wiped the gasoline at the door. The next day, Minxio received an anonymous letter. Inside were photos of her meeting with Samuel. There were also photos of her daily life with her husband. Included was a blackmail letter demanding 30 million. The next day Minxio threw her bag on the balcony of the second floor as promised. Yuzhen quietly observed her every move from the third floor. Yuzhen squatted down to pick up the fishing rod she had prepared earlier. She then stealthily hooked the woman's bag. After doing all this, she was ready to confront her husband. She placed the woman's bag in front of her husband, and then tried to test her husband with a sarcastic tone, to see if he would take the initiative to admit his mistake at this moment. But she noticed her husband remained unfazed. Her anger suddenly flared up. You scumbag. Is it because she's too lonely? Ignoring her capable husband. Going out to flirt with a taxi driver. So, that taxi driver, is it me? Samuel stood up and asked his wife to calm down. He said he hadn't done anything wrong to his family. Yuzhen said if you haven't done anything out of line, then why did this woman willingly pay? I guarantee there's no money here, we have no relation. Okay, let's take a look. Samuel didn't expect Minxio actually paid up. This also led his wife to think they had something to hide. His wife became increasingly aggressive and confrontational. At this moment, Samuel's mental defenses completely crumbled. He wanted to save face for his wife and keep some dignity. But now he had no choice. Yuzhen, what right do you have to treat me this way? What are you saying? You're not even begging on your knees enough. I saw it that day. The night you left home 2 years ago. The woman in her beautiful pajamas urges her husband to go to bed. The husband looks down, deep in thought. In the end, he can only let out a long sigh. After 5 years of marriage, they were already living together but sleeping in separate beds. How long can I bear this? Maybe it's better to divorce. The wife could stand it no longer and filed for divorce in tears. Then she dressed and went out late at night. He was going to call his best friend and complain. But then the ex-boyfriend suddenly called. Although she was quite flustered, she still answered the phone call. Ex-boyfriend said he just came back to meet up. Seeing her ex, Yuzhen's tears flowed even more. Her ex said that married life is tough, while caring to help her wipe the tears on her cheeks. Gradually, they rekindled their old feelings. An hour later, Yuzhen left the hotel, but she didn't know her husband Samuel was worried about her. He had been secretly following her. He discovered the bad things she did 2 years ago. So, Yuzhen knelt before Samuel. She said she only made this mistake once. She also said she wasn't emotionally invested at all. Now it's your turn. You should tell the truth, too. I don't have much to say. Be honest, I was open with you, too. Samuel told his wife he was a man of integrity, but his wife didn't believe him at all. She questioned why he went to someone else's home late that night. She said she felt unwell that day. I bought her some medicine and stayed quietly with her. I stayed until she fell asleep, that's all. Is there a problem with this level? We only know each other. Who would care if the woman next door is uncomfortable? Just buying medicine and coaxing her to sleep. You've fallen for her, haven't you? Answer me, have you fallen for her? Yes, I've developed feelings for her. Honestly, I need someone to talk to. But Yuzhen can no longer worry about whether Samuel has betrayed her at this moment. She has to convict Samuel or she has to die. The following conversation between them was too explicit. It won't be shared here. Samuel wanted to snatch the bag back and return it to Minxio. At this time Yuzhen played a rogue again. Hit me. Go on, hit me, that's enough. Enough already, hit me. In the end, Samuel took the bag and drove off. Yuzhen's expensive sports car proved useless. She stepped on the gas to catch up. At an intersection, Yuzhen drifted gracefully. She stopped her car right in front of Samuel. Samuel clutched the steering wheel, shouting in frustration. He looked up and saw his wife at the passenger window. Just as his wife raised the baseball bat again, he was scared and obediently lowered the window. He saw his wife with her bag, about to leave. Samuel hurriedly got out to grab it. This action completely enraged Yuzhen. Yuzhen then grabbed the cash from her bag and threw it out. Seeing money rain down from the sky, passers-by rushed over to grab it. And Yuzhen's practice also doomed their ending. After the divorce, their marital home was sold as shared property. Samuel returned to his father's side to manage the farm. Months later, a buyer finally decided to purchase their house. They met again to sign the sale agreement. Yuzhen said she had something to talk about with Samuel. They sat down at a restaurant. Yuzhen said she had a bad few months. She listed all the caring things Samuel did before their divorce. At that moment, Yuzhen couldn't hold back her tears. She heartfully admitted that she didn't cherish her family, leading to this outcome. Samuel listened to her and cried. After all, she was the woman he loved for 7 years. It's all my fault. I asked too much of you. I thought you were by my side. This is taken for granted. On Christmas Eve, Yuzhen watched couples together. She felt a bit down inside. Back home, Yuzhen ate takeout noodles. To match the festive mood, she planned to open a bottle of red wine. Just then, there was a knock at the door. Who's there? She opened the door and found Samuel standing outside, holding strawberries.